Good morning and welcome back to Jody Lewis Creations. Thank you for joining me. I hope everybody's doing well today. I am contemplating my setup here because I took 3 pages out, and I did take the lighter weight copy paper out because I really like the feel of the sturdier paper, but we're getting kind of chubby here. And you guys know I don't make anything small. So I really want to get the signature sewn in today, except for this front piece. Well, that's not getting sewn in. Yeah, that's not going to get sewn in. That's just going to get glued in somehow. But I still have to come up with a way to hide this. So I think I may put like a side pocket here, wrap some lace around that so it's front and back. But then I've got this. So maybe I'll glue this here where it overlaps a little bit, and then just run my lace down this side. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm struggling with this piece. Even though I love the image, I'm just struggling with this particular piece and how to really adhere it in a way that works, you know, because yeah, I'll figure it out. And I'll figure it out, and then of course I'll share with you. So I went through, and what I kind of did was I knew it was going to get chubby, and I just went through and just paper clipped my pockets in. And there's only a couple pockets in each one, so I am still contemplating taking the extra sheet of copy dyed paper out, but I really like it, and I don't really want to take it out. So I just kind of went through and I rearranged some of the papers just based on where it was falling in the journal. But paper clipped my pockets in there, and that kind of gives me an idea of where we are. Now once I glue all the pockets in, I can lay something heavy on here and it'll help flatten that as well. But I mean, I haven't even put this in anywhere because it's going to add so much bulk, but I do want to use it. I just haven't figured out where yet. I was thinking, you know, I would just clip it on the edge of a page, and again, that sturdier paper is going to hold that. So maybe that's what I'll do. Let's just put it here temporarily for now, maybe, if my paper clip will hold. Okay, so I would recommend doing this before you sew anything in. I do want to get these sewn in at some point today. I'm hoping that I can make that work, and then we can kind of proceed with this. I'd like to get this finished. I know I keep saying that, but my time has just been limited to be able to be in here. So, so go ahead and pause the video and go clip all of your pockets in that you have made so far, and see where your bulk is, and if you need to take a page out, or maybe 2, depending on how many pages you decided to go with. So try that, and then I will see you guys back in a little while. Okay, so it's the next day. This is Saturday. And so I managed to get my fix that I was after yesterday. I took, this is wedding dress from like a veil, or I don't know, it might be from the gown. I don't know. Anyway, and I cut the appliques out, and you can see around the edges, there's still some tulle, but I don't mind that. And I can come in with my cutter bees and kind of trim that up a little bit, and I may just where it's a little bit excess. But anyway, I did cut this side flush, but I don't mind the overhang on the edges that aren't on the seam. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, so it's gonna look like that. And I've got a little bit of bead trim here. And so on the back, I put a little pocket here, and then we have a little bit of a lace pocket here. So I did that to overlap this ribbon that holds this beading, okay? And so we're almost ready. I'm almost ready to glue everything and sew the signatures in. I am hoping to get this sewn together. I know I was going to try to do that yesterday. But I had to make a curtain, and I need to get a dash mat made for our RV, so I was fighting with that. I tried to use parchment paper, just so you know. Washi doesn't just stick to parchment paper, and actually duct tape didn't just stick to the parchment paper either. So I'm going to dig in my stuff here and see how much tissue paper I have. And hopefully I have enough. Otherwise, I'm going to go to Dollar Tree. But, I mean, I need a couple things at Dollar Tree anyway. But anyway, just the medical tape or paper tape, as somebody left a comment that it's also called paper tape, which I don't know. I got this in the medical section, but it's probably, you know, what it's considered as paper tape too. So just an FYI. I have this white edge here that's driving me crazy. So what I thought I would do is just glue this little bit of lace down the edge. I thought about putting another pocket on here, but I really like this paper as a backdrop and I don't want to cover it. So I think that just this little bit of lace is going to be a good solution. So I'm going to get this glued on really quickly. We've got to go to, well, he doesn't know I'm going with him, but we've got to go to Home Depot and get some potting soil because we got some flowers the other day and I need to get them potted. And I want to look and see if the tomato plants are out yet and stuff like that. But I also need to go to Dollar Tree, so that's right there by Home Depot. So I'll just run in real quick and get what I need and go from there. And this is, I don't know where this lace is, but I tell you, it's really hard to tell front from back on it. So, and I am overlapping just a little on the end on purpose, so that way I know I can get a nice straight cut when I do it, to be flush with the paper itself. Now I do know people use like the spatulas to push on it, but as you can see, both of these are really grody and I don't want to transfer to the lace. I did find a new one in my drawer yesterday. I was looking for like the, oh, what do you call it? When you're sewing and you can set the measurement on this thing to do your seams. And I looked and looked and looked and looked, but because I hadn't been into my sewing stuff now in 6 months, because, you know, we were gone for 5 and we've been home for a month, I was like, where is that thing? I found it finally. It was in a drawer with more sewing stuff. I just forgot where I had put it. So I was getting frustrated, but I did find it. So I do have a rough pattern made for the dash mat. So when we were in Alabama getting work done on the RV, we were going to buy one. And everybody was like, oh, this guy's the best, blah, blah, blah. And we looked at it and I was like, there is no way I'm going to drive down the road and look at this crazy sewing job that this guy's done on this. It would drive me insane. It was super wonky and crazy and just would have driven us both nuts because Mark was like, no, also. So was good. And then so anyway, he was like, oh, you can figure it out. And then now I'm like, oh, thanks for that, because it is taxing my brain for sure. I'm just trying to get a good angle on this without cutting my paper itself. I just want to get that cut. Okay, so that'll dry. I'll let that get good and dry. And I think that's just a nice touch of color there behind that and kind of ties all this together. I don't usually do dangly beads, you guys know that, but I had this beading and I thought, well, that would be kind of pretty to hang down there. So hopefully it won't make me crazy because it's kind of bulky and this thing's already getting big, but we'll see. So I'll let that get good and dry. I'm going to put this down and then I actually think I'm going to put a pocket here, maybe with just paper, scrapbook paper, scrap. Yep. Get the words out. Let's see what we've got. So, not with this particular one, but I'll just do something, and then that'll hide this lip. And I did, you know what? I may cut that off and put a fabric one on there. Because I don't know. It's going to be fine. But anyway, so I'll have to get that glued on there and then put a book on it to weigh that down to make sure that adheres well. And then I will, yeah. Okay, so we'll do that. So I'll be back later. Good morning again. This is Sunday morning. You guys are probably like, Jody, are you ever going to finish this video? Maybe I will. Maybe I won't until next week. I don't know. We've just been of course we've been really busy. You guys know there's a lot going on. But yesterday we just really had a lot of yard work to do because the weather was actually conducive to doing it. So We just spent some time getting some flowers planted and getting some weeds pulled, mowed the yard, that sort of stuff. So I still need to sew everything in, and I haven't done it. Obviously, it's not sewn together. I still haven't decided how I'm going to do this. It's gonna have to go over the edge because I put that trim on there, which is fine, but I just am not thinking I'm liking that flap on there. So I did dig through, goodness, and I found this like damask print, and I absolutely love that. So I think I'm just gonna put just a small pocket here, but I think that's probably going to impede that pocket if I put it underneath, but I don't think I mind it on top. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna trim this off where I didn't get my paper all the way to the edge. I'm gonna cut this at about, probably 2.5 inches. And I don't know what paper pad this is from. This paper pad is from like a swap or something somebody sent me, and it's the only piece of this I have. I absolutely love it. I've kind of been hoarding it, but I don't think it'll hurt if I just use a small strip on this pocket. And then what we'll do is this will just be like a side tuck. Actually, it won't. It's just going to be a decorative edge on the pocket because I want to make sure that that front flap is really stable. I could probably just glue the top and the bottom, and that would be sufficient, wouldn't it? Okay. Well, let's start with cutting this. So I think I'm just gonna go like, I had it figured out, 2 inches, 2.5 inches, because 3 inches is just too much by the time we have this sewn in and we want to tuck that in there. So I think 2.5 inches is more than enough. So, sorry if I'm talking weird. I keep having to sleep with holes in my mouth at night, and it just feels like my mouth is got this, well, clearly it's got a coating because I slept with the halls, but man, it is so unpleasant. But I have this dry cough that's just driving me crazy. And anyway, so I do apologize. But I'm still drinking my coffee, but even that tastes weird. Like, it makes everything taste weird the rest of the day. Ugh, I don't like it. So I need to find a humidifier. Put a humidifier in the room and see if that helps. It helped in the RV over the winter when I did that. So I think I'm just gonna cut this at 8 5/8. 8 5/8. But anyway, so yeah, it's like my tongue feels all weird and dry and coated. And, anyway. And I'd like to blame it on the cat, but I really don't think it's the cat because I was doing it in Arizona this winter too, so cannot blame kitty cat, who, by the way, is still with us. I did tell you guys that the kid moved out. I think I told you that. And but the cat is still here. And I'm tolerating her, so that's good. And she's really funny, and we've enjoyed having her. I didn't particularly want a cat, but I'm not just going to unhome her. She doesn't have any say in what's going on. So, yeah, but she's very sweet. She's very playful. She's really cute. She looks like she's wearing eyeliner, so that's kind of fun. And anyway, my husband's super attached to her. And I haven't been able to rename her, so I call her Cat or Hairball or Fuzzy Butt or whatever. I thought I had a name picked out for her, but it just hasn't really stuck. So I don't know what we're doing with that. But anyway, I guess it's probably a blessing in some ways that she's here because I can play ball with her, play with her, and it's a great mental distraction. She makes me giggle, so I'll take it. I will take it. I did not work on the dash mat for the RV yesterday. I didn't have the mental capacity, but I did get the box of scrappy blocks of fabric out of the attic, or Mark carried it down for me. And I made some scrappy quilt blocks. I got like 3 sewn. And so I need to make a sample quilt block, because I don't know if you remember, before we left on the winter trip, I said I needed to make a quilt for the RV, and I was going to do it on the road, but goodness, I'm glad we didn't take the tote of fabric, because I never would have gotten it done. And so I thought, well, I'll just work on it throughout the summer, you know, while we're just doing whatever, like watching TV or whatever, and I think that'll be okay. Oh, you know what I could do? I could just glue this whole flop down and then run some trim right down it, and that would help cover that edge. I'm going to do that. Okay, but I'm going to put a sticky note on it because I don't want to deal with this flapping while I'm sewing. So I don't know if I've ever said to you before, it's a really good idea to keep just some little sticky notes in your creative area, because in this instance, where's my pencil? Then like when you're in the creative process and you're like, oh, I can do this later, then you just clip your sticky note on, or if your sticky is actually sticky. So glue front and V. And run trim down center of pocket. Okay. So then, anyway, you can come back to it and say, oh, that's what I was going to do. Okay. And then it'll make sense to you. Instead of saying, oh, I have to do this right now, and then you're dealing with a flapasm while you're trying to sew in your signatures and all that. So that's just a little tip. I have a little drawer here, oops, of sticky notes and stuff. I have a lot of sticky notes. I have a love of sticky notes. So if you need sticky notes, let me know. I have a lot. Okay. Anyway, so that's that. I did go to Dollar Tree yesterday, and there was a comment, paper tape. I mean, I was calling it medical tape, and it actually says paper tape on the packaging. So this is what it looks like if you go to Dollar Tree. I'm sure it's different brands, obviously, if you're at different stores, but this roll is 10 yards, so that's 30 feet of this for $1.25 plus tax. So I think that's, you know, that lasts me a long time. I mean, I've had this one for a really long time, but I find myself reaching for it more because it is kind of like see-through or whatever. So anyway, that's in the package what I got, and there was a couple different rolls, but again, I was in a hurry and not really thinking, because I got acetone, which was non-acetone, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that now. Hopefully I can go trade it, but I just grabbed it because the bottle looked the same, but it's not the right thing. I need acetone to thin my 3-in-1. So anyway, there's that. Okay, so I think now I am going to go ahead and sew this all in, because then I want to go through, I want to sew some ruffles. Just tear some strips of fabric and sew some ruffles. So we've got a couple of fabric ruffles that we can use. I don't know why that's there. And then we have some bits in here that I made and cut. So once we get everything sewn in, we can start gluing those pockets in. And then we can come back and start adding things to them and seeing what pieces we need to make. So I'm hopeful that I can start moving along a little more quickly on this. Like I said, yesterday was just a really nice day, and I just needed to get some stuff done in the yard or whatever, and get my flowers planted. And hopefully I didn't plant them too early. Usually I wait till Memorial Day weekend, but they needed planted. I was tired of trying to babysit them in pots. So, okay, so let me get these sewn in. I'm going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. You could do 3, 5, 7, whatever you want. You could do the no-sew binding where you just run, like, you know, your string and tie them. I don't particularly like that binding method because it leaves the pages too loose, but it truly is whatever your preference is. I just prefer to sew them. I thought about trying to do the 5-hole, but all of my pages are long, and I don't think I need to do that. But eventually I would like to do the 5-hole just to say I've done it. So, okay, I'm going to get all these sewn in. 3-hole pamphlet stitch. If you have a question about the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, let me know. There are lots of YouTube videos on it. I have demonstrated it before. Basically, you're going to poke your 3 holes. If you want your tie on the inside of the signature, you go in, out from the inside. If you want it on the outside, you go in from the outside with your center hole. So I'm going to do them to the inside. Yeah. So you're going to go out, in through the top, down, out through the bottom, in through the middle, trying to make sure that you don't stab your thread. If in the event I do stab my thread in this process, I will come back and show you what that looks like. I am going to use embroidery floss for this. I think I'm going to do just a nice medium purple embroidery floss, and I'll use that to stitch these in. Like I said, if I come into any hiccups with it, I'll come back and talk you through it. But the 3-hole pamphlet stitch is very easy, and if it's something that you're afraid of, don't be. Just practice on a scrap piece of paper. Just take a scrap, fold it in half, and practice until you get comfortable with it before you actually try to sew your project. That way you're not getting frustrated and feeling like you've ruined your project if you do have an issue with it. Just take your time. And go slowly, and then but like I said, practice on a piece of paper if you know that's something that you want to do. And actually, let me get a needle and some thread, and I'll just show you very quickly on this piece of paper. And then, oops, avalanche. Do I have enough on here? Probably not. Do I have? Hopefully. Oh, this is white. I bet you're not going to be able to see that. Here's a darker thread. Oh, is that threaded already? Yeah. Look at that. Okay, so you'll poke your holes. I typically will measure and do the middle, and then about 1 inch from the top and about 1 inch from the bottom. Okay, you're going to go. Oh, and then make sure you have, let me do 2 papers just so I can demonstrate, because your papers will move, right? Your papers will move. So you want to make sure that you're lined up however you want. And if you have different size papers from top to bottom, however you want them aligned, make sure that you've got them how you want before you poke your holes. And then I'll usually take, you know, a paper clip and paper clip to hold those papers, and while I'm clipping, I'm making sure that I'm actually pushing into that seam, or into the spine, to make sure. So then I poke my holes, and you can measure them or not. I always measure them because I like them to be even. You go out through the middle and leave your tail so you can tie it. And they say to do like 3 times the height of your journal. I don't, and generally I don't even cut my thread until I'm done because I don't want to waste my thread. So see, I've gone into the top hole, down, out through the bottom hole, okay? And then back in through the center. Oh my gosh, this is, and see how I just split that thread coming in. So you want to make sure that you're on the opposite side, and see how this is loose. This is truly how I do it, because then it gives me, oops, some wiggle room. I can make sure that my tails are on each side of that long thread, and then I pull in opposite ways gently. Make sure that these are tight. See, that's not tight. Okay, so I just pulled and that tightened it. And then you can just tie yourself a knot. Make sure you tie a knot. And then you can either have long tails, or you can make a bow, you can clip it, whatever you want to do, okay? So now we have a little 4-page booklet that I will probably go ahead and embellish since we've done it, and include it in a pocket somewhere. Because why not, right? Let's use the book pages. All right, and so there we go. We have a little signature that is sewn. So the only difference with your cover is obviously you're going to be attached to the cover itself. So that would just be like your outside piece of paper. So So hopefully if you had questions, that will help you. And it's very simple. Don't let it intimidate you. Try on a scrap piece of paper until you're comfortable with it before you do your project. That way you don't have any issues with your project, because they're a lot of work and we want you to feel comfortable and confident with what you're doing and feel like that you're able to complete it with some success. So I think that's really cute. You know what we're gonna do? I am not gonna sew this right now. See, squirrel. We're gonna embellish this, because how cute would that be? Let's just do one of these Tracy images on the front. Let's see what we can do here. Here's a little scrap. Oh, no, that's not the one I wanted. Let's see. Here's a little scrap, and then let's do probably this one. See, I thought I had a plan, and then I changed directions, and this is how I create. And I know I've said before that, you know, my friends are like, they hate watching a YouTuber that doesn't have a plan, but you're gonna have all the best intentions, and then you get into something and you're like, oh, I think this looks fun, let's do this way. I should probably put my glasses on, that would be helpful. And I'm probably talking 100 miles an hour. I am drinking my coffee while I'm creating with you. But I've been yabbering. It's probably getting cold. I'm almost done with it. I have a sassy coffee cup, so I'm trying not to get what it says in the film. Oh, it's appropriate for my attitude this morning. But, all right, so we're going to just have this. We need a little bit something else with that. Let's get a different piece. Did I have any? Oh, I did have Tracy scraps. Where are they? Here we go. Oh, that would be cute on there too. We could just do that as a center on there, huh? Stop fussing and just go for it, right? I think so. Here's a piece of script, and I can reprint this if I want to. Oh, that's really pretty too. Ooh, that would be really pretty with the butterflies on it. It's too much of tone on tone. Okay, stop it. It's not the right tear ruler, but it'll work. I mean, I can tear with this one, but so we're gonna go look at some property today that an acquaintance owns and walk it and see if we like it. I don't know what that's gonna be like, but we'll see. I keep being on the fence about turning this house into a retreat house because it's a beautiful home with lots of space, and I could make a really cool retreat house with it. But and just do it like as a summer thing, not as like a all year round thing, because obviously we're not going to be here all year. So I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like. We've talked about it, and I know I could do a good job with a retreat house. So I don't know. I just don't know. What did I do with my little cut apart? I lost it already. Hello. Did I knock it on the floor with my sweater? I don't know. Well, we may have to choose another one until I find it. Hang on. Well, that took me 25 minutes to finish. So, I decided to make it a little booklet. I think I said that before I paused the video. And so I just collaged the front and did, do all the good you can. And this is the TaylorMade journals. This is Roxy. This is Tracy. So it's a combination of all three of the digitals with a Tim Holtz word sticker. And then I just cut coffee dyed paper and covered, so that gives us a lot of writing space inside our little booklet. And I'm gonna have to take the glue eraser to the front of that. I did leave the back open. There's no bad words on it or anything, or that I'm aware of. And considering the age of this book, I'm not really that worried about it. I may decide to collage that later, but I don't think so, because it is book pages that we've used. And so, but I think that gives just so much space. So we'll put that in our little bin here. And I'm gonna make that the end of this video. And then I will get the stuff sewn in I promise to try to get it sewn in and not get sidetracked before I come back to the next video, because I really want to be getting this completed and done. I did back these pieces onto coffee dyed paper so I can get those cut out, so we'll have those to stick in pockets. And yeah, so that's it for this video. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.